Wake up, buyer payer people. It's a beautiful day. Go grab yourself another cup of joe and say hello to Jim and Michelle Rhoads on the Buy Here Pay Here Morning Show. Take it away, you two.
Good morning.
Hey, good morning, friends.
A little bit of a different format. We are going to be moving more towards Jim and I sitting across the way from each other. And so just wanted to give you a little bit of a view of what that looks like. And
because we know you care, right?
That exactly.
Right. No, we just we're moving toward a setup that allows us to speak, across the table to one another more, because we do have a lot of our podcasts, and today's one of those where it's just the two of us. And so even though you can't tell it, we're across the table looking at each other instead of looking at the same screen. So there's the look. So welcome, folks. We got a couple of announcements. We got, our V8 meetings are coming up. I've got one tomorrow night for group one. There is still one seat in that, but it's probably too late for anybody to jump in that spot. We've got to turn data around today for that meeting tomorrow. So we do have some other dealers that are coming in for our upcoming groups. And so that's been good. We're working with a lot of dealers. Michelle, you and I haven't talked about it a lot, but we're working with a lot of dealers who are like really new, like they're brand new to the business, to the industry. Right. And so they're not, they've been business owners before, but not in the car business even, and certainly not the finance business. So, but some really bright people, who, we're helping them figure out how to find the resources and do the thing.
Well, it's been kind of fun to have the conversations with them about what would make your job easier. Because, a lot of dealers that have been out there for a long time are doing things the way they've always done them. Sure. And because, they've kind of just had to figure it out. And so as we work with new dealers, it's like, what would make this easier? Sure. What would make this, something that you can see that it would really set you up for success.
Right.
So,
that's all good.
Cool.
Yeah, it's definitely been, and we always try to, when we work with our clients, even when they're brand new, we always try to ask them to think about starting with the end in mind. If you begin your business and think about, even though you're not ready to think about exit today, we ask you to think about
well, even if it's it's exit, but it's even if what you're looking at is if you're brand new, about what does your business look like 10 years from now.
Sure.
And I think that's a really valuable exercise. But so, V8, we've still got some seats, and we'll just continue to build groups as we need to. Once we filled up these initial 4, maybe 5, if we do one that's for the over 2,000, that we'll be using those groups for beta testing the V8 Plus program, which
we're already beta testing. We've already got a V8 Plus meeting set for the end of May. And so,
So what's V8 Plus?
V8 Plus is basically just like it's like additional meetings, like bonus meetings. Yeah. And so we're able to get certain kind of topic focused, sessions. They can be mastermind formats, a lot of different ways we can go with that. Yeah. But the one that we're doing this toward the end of this month is kind of a topic generator. We're doing one on CRM best practices. Yeah.
One of the other things is that you can, if there are seats available because someone can't make it,
right,
that with V8 Plus, you have the option of being able to just kind of sit in on that seat.
Yeah, if we have groups in the same size.
Exactly. Which it's been fun because a lot of people have chosen to do that.
Or had a conflict and couldn't be in their regular
and then they go
schedule.
to a different one. Yeah, exactly.
So that's been good.
So today's topic.
Yeah, it's an interesting one because it's something that we created this hashtag and had a little fun in the comments today, asking people to kind of guess if they didn't see already on social media. We started sharing this thing last week and saw that some of our colleagues out there in the industry were getting behind it and sharing it and kind of liking the idea. And as were a lot of dealers who were, actively engaged in their state association. So we brought out the hashtag JYSA. And, people naturally immediately thought, it's like, Jim, you're a smart ass. So
well, or
something to that effect. Yeah. Which, but no, there's lots of ways you might interpret that. But our goal in creating that hashtag, it was just a moment of inspiration. I just thought, I'm surprised it's not out there. Let's throw it out there. And it's really just, for us, I think the thing is we've talked plenty about why we think dealers ought to be members of their state association. We'll give them some more ideas today. I think for us, it was really about making a deposit in a way. It's like, we talk a lot about, in relationships and building trust in relationships. And so, you just ask yourself, what's in it for you and me? Like, how did you and I get rich, sharing hashtags? There's no
It's
money
not
there.
about getting rich sharing hashtags. It's about support.
Right.
It's about, I think that it flows into like one of our whys, which is about healing relationships. It's about bringing things together in a more holistic way.
Yeah.
And this is just one way that it just feels really good to it's about just bringing together. It's about bringing together.
Yeah,
and
it is.
Yeah.
And I think it's, in this case, it's a way for us to be able to, share something that can be used by others. And, I'm going to offer some ways that we can utilize and spread this hashtag. But, it's really, it's about creating a way for folks to find the stuff, find, why it matters, which is really, one of the other pieces that we need to talk about. But I think, first I just wanted to make sure we covered the idea about why would we even do that? Why would we, one, create the hashtag and share it? Two, why would we bring it to the morning show? It's because I think what it represents for me is it's a way for us to demonstrate that and so it's one thing to say it, right? So this is kind of back to the old thing that we talk about where actions speak louder. It's like, it's one thing to say that you're in support of something, right? It's another thing to show that you're in support. And so this is where we're asking our colleagues and dealers to just take some action, share the hashtag. Nobody gets, nobody's getting any money off of that. We're simply rallying people around a message, right?
It's that's that whole thing. You don't need a credit card to ride this train. This is something that just support, show your support. And we've talked a lot in the past about what the state and national associations do. And, and I don't know if we need to reiterate any of that. And because we've talked about it so many times, but it's really a show of support, and it's a show of getting the message out, because as we've done like different polls and talked to people in the V8 groups, it's been really obvious that there's some that aren't, and we really haven't gotten to the bottom about why not. Sure. But there is a decent handful of people that we work with that are not right now, and it's just join. It's probably one of the lesser expensive things that give back to you that you could think of.
Yeah. And I think we can certainly cover the things. I think it's probably back up, since we often have a lot of people listening that are new to the industry and what have you. And we just cover and explain some things that you and I know quite well, which is that when we say join your state association, you're really supporting the national association too. So that is the kind of the construction of the system. Is like when you join your state association, your membership at the state level includes membership at the national level. National gets a small amount of the money, and they use it to support, national initiatives and development of education, all these kind of things. So, if you ask, why should a dealer do it? Like, and it might vary by state as to what you spend, but I can promise you, even the most expensive state is well worth it. Like whatever it is that you're spending to support that state association, you ask yourself, what is it doing for me as a dealer? And I'm just going to tell you, if you'll utilize the resources, it'll make you better.
Yeah, well, that's just one thing, and I know that the states as well as the national organization, because when you join your state association, it just automatically you're a member of the National Association, right? And so there's a slew of things that the National Association has done to give back for, and it's more than whatever the investment is. It's there's discounts at auto supply, and how many of you out there have a shop and spend a lot of money on parts? Well, that it's like, they've tried, there's a lot of different things that can actually add back that value pretty quickly.
Often dealers get their money back, the actual cash that they invest. A lot of the auction chains, the big auction chains provide tokens. It's good for a free buy.
So
it's like you get the money back.
So it's like financially, it's a wash.
It is in most cases, I'm sure. Again, it probably varies by state. But even if you're going negative, even if you're not using the coupons that they provide for you, I would just say that, it's about some of what happens with the work that we do is Michelle and I talk about some of this stuff is really difficult. Some of the stuff about buy here, pay here is difficult.
Yeah.
Some of it's really easy. It's a simple decision. It's just a simple decision. So this is kind of what, you and I talk about in terms of our work is like, so why are we doing this? Why are we stepping out to support the association? What's in it for us? Well, we made a simple decision to step forward and do some good. We're in a position, we have some channels, we have, connections and resources, and we're going to utilize those resources. We made a decision to step in.
Exactly. And we actually, through the podcast and other things, as we are reaching some of those that have not engaged.
True.
And so, it's just been really fun to watch the questions that come from people that we are working with that are like, what is this?
Yeah.
Or what is this?
Sure.
And, so we're in a very unique position to be able to help drive support of the state.
Yeah. And now let's take it to the vendor level. Like, we're vendors and coaches, right? But we're also just kind of spreading the message. We do a lot of free education, right? But think about, pick any vendor in the space. You're a DMS provider. How do you benefit from having, one, more dealers engaged, two, having those dealers be better educated and compliant? Like, how does that serve you? You want your clients to stay in business long term. So the best way to do that is through an association membership. It is the place in our industry that folks can go to find all the stuff.
Yep.
We hope they can find all the people.
Yeah.
That's certainly something that we're big about is inclusion, like just making sure that we can find all the people.
Agnostic inclusion.
Yeah. And look, that's just for us. That's how we choose to operate. But it's like us stepping in and saying, when you think about for dealers, like, it's a community. Obviously the conferences are important. We there's a ton of great education there. The connections at those conferences and the ability to walk through the exhibit hall and meet the people behind the product and get a demo of the product and make sure you're making the right choice for your business. I mean, where else can you go and do that? Where could you walk through an exhibit hall in a matter of 2 hours and demo 4 different software providers? So it's like, why wouldn't you be there?
That's very, very true. And I know, we talk about, there are different groups of dealers, buy here, pay here, lease here, pay here specific, not just independent dealers, but of buy here, pay here and lease here, pay here dealers. And when we talk to vendors and state and national association members, we kind of refer to the Golden 500, which is the about 500 dealers that have been involved for a while, that really get the stuff. They know the value. They already know the value of those connections, of coming to the conferences, of sitting down with people across the table. And that we're right now, I know that for all of the vendors out there, for all of the state and national associations, it's like, how do we get our message out to the Silver 5,000, which are those that are thirsty for help, those that are thirsty for improvement, those that are, thirsty for what options are there out there. And so, it's interesting. We were talking with a fellow vendor about the state or the National Association conference and the expo hall. And it's like, when, we as vendors, we see people that come in, it's like, oh, hey, how you doing? It's like a big family reunion with the Golden 500. It is.
Yeah.
And so, what's happening in your neck of the woods, what kind of, and then it's like people that we already know and trust. It is so great to watch new people come. And the other vendor was like, it's like vendors are like, someone new. And whomp. But it's really such a great opportunity. And we were talking with a vendor at when we were in Vegas recently. It's the not vendor, but dealer. And the dealer was talking about, I love the swag. I love to come through and get new pens and new rubber things and new, all of that kind of stuff. And it's funny because I in a lifetime ago, I used to go, I was involved in state or city government, and we would I'd go to the conferences, and I would come home with so many different, I have had drawers full of pens, and, and that kind of stuff.
Great.
But yeah.
I think that I definitely get that. I think people enjoy that part of it, right? I just think for me, it's like, why, to be there for the connections is important. And I think you just have to ask yourself and ask dealers. I mean, just go ask these dealers in this Golden 500. Are you a member of your association? Why? Is it beneficial for you? Do you go to the conferences? Yes. Are you in a 20 group? Yes. Ask those people. Go out on social media and ask them, because they will tell you, most of them will tell you 20 groups, one of the best things I ever did for my business. Right.
Oh, absolutely.
Not everybody's going to be able to justify that budget. So, right. Some will do that, and they'll find it to be of great value. And so, but we definitely are big advocates for that part. But then you look at the conference and ask, when you set in these sessions, and listen, we don't have to rehash this. We've talked about this enough, and we can share the articles I've written in the past about what dealers miss when they don't go to the conferences and that sort of thing. Like, I think it's just up to us. We have an opportunity. And so we're going to invite our colleagues across the industry today to adopt the hashtag, share the hashtag, add it. I'm adding it to my email signature. Okay.
I will do the same.
When you see a social post about that features that, share it, explain to people what it is. When they start to see that enough, they'll say, oh, I guess it's something I better look into, right? It just has to get front of mind. And we know, those of us who are vendors out there, we know these car dealers, they're busy folks. And it's not that they don't really intend to join. A lot of them it's not in front of them at a time that, they're either sitting in front of their checkbook or whatever. But I would say, if you're a dealer listening, authorize that check to be written. I don't know if people write paper checks anymore, but, authorize the payment, join that association sooner than later, and then get involved.
And it was interesting. And it just kind of goes to show that there are a lot of people out there that don't fully understand or haven't been fully exposed to the independent association, because it's like when we're looking at one of the streams of conversation in success and dealer buyer pair success, is that someone said, I reached out and they said, we don't have a state, whatever. Right. And so it was like, is that NADA or NIADA?
Oh, sure. I got you.
And so, know that there's two separate things. There's NADA, which is the National Automobile Dealers Association.
Which is franchise dealerships.
But I mean, anyone can go to the conference that is a dealer of car if they want to.
I wasn't aware of that.
That's what I thought. So
vendors go, because they have products for both new and used, but I'm not sure about dealers.
Okay, well then I will have to have that checked. But NIADA or the IADA, that's our part of the states, those are the state associations. And I watched some of that conversation, and they're like, what if they aren't active, all of that. There are other options. And so, if you're not getting responses, because there's some that are pretty new, and they really don't have a very strong association, or they might have one that might not be a single state, but it's a conglomeration of states because of the fact that there may not have been a very strong association. So just keep looking, because there's someone out there that can help you. The one thing that I would, and instead of just going to, a lot of people enjoy the Texas conference, because there's a lot of buy here, pay here, and all that there. Great information, great association. What they tell you about what's legal may not be what is accurate for your state. Okay, so it's important for you to try to get to your state association, because every state has different boxes that they live in, and there are some things that NIADA as an entity that kind of everything's under the umbrella of NIADA. They're the ones that are at Capitol Hill. They're the ones that are leading the charge federally for our industry. And most of the time, except for the OOC, which is that right? OCCC. Sorry. I'm so bad.
You're so new to the industry.
But in Texas, that is their organization, which is the kind of the watchdog for the consumer. Yeah. We as dealers, or we in the industry, are having to deal with federal organizations that are out there to be the watchdog of the consumer. And so, regardless of whether or not you see value in your state, oh my gosh, it's just so valuable for the national organization.
Yeah, and you mentioned Texas. I want to come back and cover one thing about Texas. Like one of the things that came into my awareness in the last week is something that we had a dealer who was having to jump through some new hoops this year in the course of their dealer license renewal. Yeah. So here's an example. Let me just break this down. Like if you're a dealer somewhere, you don't have to be in Texas to understand the significance of something like this. It's like that dealer was having to comply with a new standard that the state of Texas had established for a used car dealer's license. And I don't remember what it was exactly, but there was some additional expense that was going to have to be incurred to satisfy this thing. And it's like, when you're a member of your state association, you would know about that long before it came. Why? Because Texas as an association working very closely with the legislature and any kind of new legislation that's going to come down. So they're going to know about it the minute it's signed into law, and they're going to be able to, share it with and they're also going to be able to be a party to those conversations and, have a chance to participate in structuring the legislation so that the dealers are represented. Right. And so this is where we think it's important. And then if you think at this year's NIADA conference in June, and we hope to see so many of you there.
Everybody,
we would love to see. And my own vision for the National Association is it's a very strong and prolific organization, and it has its membership roll is much higher percentage than it is today. That's my vision for what that association would be.
It's been pretty cool to as we are watching, just since I joined the family of buy here, pay here, lease here, pay here. It's been really neat to watch how it's grown. And I obviously there's stuff from before or after whatever, but it's just really been cool for me to observe how the state association or the National Association has grown. And I just have to say, shout out to Jeff Martin. I'm just so thrilled that he is at the helm of the state and that Teresa's joining him too. Cause I mean, those two are a fantastic duo with driving membership, especially, is that they are so great at that when they work together. So I'm just so excited to see that happen.
Yeah, no, of course. We're they definitely are a good team and did incredible things in Texas. And so it's a great thing for the association that, both the folks with so much commitment and talent, we're at that level. But I think the thing that I also want to make sure when people come to the June conference, they're going to get a chance to help me, because I saw the list. I think the FTC will be there. The CFPB, will be there. There's, I think the IRS will be there. So
comb your hair and take a bath, because those people will be there.
Yeah, like they're there to help though. They're there in a spirit of cooperation. So it's like we're
and to see that we're there to be able to come together to help each other be better. The education, I think it's going to be so great for those organizations to see that the national and state organizations, or the national organization, is working hard to bring education to keep people compliant, or help to educate them about what they have to do to be compliant, to be better at what they do, how they deliver, what services they offer to the consumers out there. And it's pretty exciting.
It is. And I can just say that, I had a really great meeting yesterday with a really well-established vendor, been in the space a long time. I just never gotten to know their people. So I had a really nice meeting.
You guys are dropping names, and it's like people from a long time ago.
Yeah.
It's like, I know them. I know them.
Yeah. And, it was just kind of in the context of getting to know one another and kind of intersections of our careers and what have you. But as I went through that conversation with them, what was clear is that as I began to express to them the mission that is White Hat Way and what that looks like and why we think that's important for the industry, they just immediately got so engaged and so on board and so supportive of that idea, which is just one little slice, one little indication of where we feel like, what you and I are doing with the White Hat Way thing is just all we're really doing is creating a brand, an identity, putting a face on what it looks like to be good guys and good gals in the industry. And guess what? Good guys and good gals in the industry are members of their state associations.
Absolutely.
Right?
And we are Jim and Michelle Rhoads, but we are the spokespeople for White Hat Way, and that everything that we've been doing, everything that we have built, everything that we are building, and everything that's on our roadmap is under that umbrella of White Hat Way. And White Hat Way is like, we are as an entity. NIADA is a part of that. It's just, that's part of our mission, part of our goals of what we're driving is to help the national organization and help the dealers in the national organization and the state organizations be better.
Yeah. And that's, it starts with dealers. It's just like if you're a dealer and you're writing that check, whether it's $400 a year or whatever that check looks like, just understand that it's our belief that you're going to come back and say that's some of the best money you've spent. In some states, go to your state association website, go to the National Association website, look and see what's included with member benefits. And you're going to see that, my gosh, just I'm going to get the money back mostly through these coupons, from the auction people. I'm going to get access to all this incredible education. I'm going to get preferential rates on this and that. And so it's like the value, though, of getting plugged into that is so significant that we just know that dealers need to be there. And for us, we're just going to continue to be agnostic. We're going to be, supportive, and we're going to be, for us, that's just, NIAD is a nonprofit entity. We're going to throw our effort behind, getting folks rallied around, NIADA and make sure that they understand the value of being part of that. And then when that organization grows, like my vision for when that organization grows and represents a larger, cross section of the dealer base out there, then now your ability to have even greater influence, imagine what it looks like for the CEO or the board president to sit with the FTC and say our roster, our membership is grown by X, it's just look at what it does for them. So it's like, that's an important thing to say. This is the place to come to get educated with dealers who want to do it right. They want to get educated and they want to improve their business.
And I would encourage, outside of joining your state association, is attend, at least the national conference.
Yeah, for sure.
Because the national conference it's like this, everything falls under the umbrella of that. And the more that we can, it's how great will it be for those federal organizations to be there and to see it's even bigger. I think last year that they counted over 800 people that were enrolled and attended the conference last year. I mean, how great will it be? It's like, we are growing, that it's even more. So if you haven't gotten your ticket to the convention in next month, try to do that. At the least, join your state association. You're going to get great publications, and every month you're going to get something from NIADA that's like, here are the things that we're working on. And so you don't have to tap in any more than just read the thing and be there for that, so you know what's happening. So but come to the conference if you can.
I'm going to put my number on the screen for two reasons. If you're at the conference and you want to join us for a smoked old fashioned, just make sure text me and
we got to find a place.
We'll figure out a spot. We want to meet people, right? If the people that are going to be there and we haven't had a chance to spend some time with them in person, that's a great opportunity there. And the other reason to have my phone number there is, look, if you can't find your state association, text me. We'll find them. We'll find them. If there is one, I'm especially interested in getting to know the ones that are part of the Hawaii Independent Auto Dealer Association.
We offer great discounts for on-site visits. Anyone in Hawaii. Do we do Puerto Rico?
Let's start one.
Let's start one in Puerto Rico too.
I don't know if there's, but let's make sure that we have some great destinations like that. No, I think the other thing I was thinking about, Michelle, is some people say TIADA for Texas, some say TIADA.
TIADA,
right? And then I was thinking, well, what about when you have these kind of local chapters, like there's a Houston chapter, but I was wondering, like, if you have New Orleans has a chapter, would it become something like No Idea? No.
Niata.
Yeah. So it's like, whatever, however you can remember it.
I have a goofy part.
I can't. I try to stop. I can't help myself.
I really appreciate him. Hey, everybody. Thank you so much for joining today. We are grateful that you make us a part of your day. Today was Wednesday. We have one more podcast this week on Friday. And then we're going to be heading out of town to go visit some family. And yeah. So
for the weekend.
For the weekend.
And you're gone for a short.
Then I'm going. It's my annual girls trip.
Yep.
I know. So, all right, everybody. Thanks again for joining us. Hope you guys all have a fantastic day. And we appreciate your support. Let me add that to the stage and